You've stopped into another episode of Dad Crossing where myself, Nick, and my co-host Sean will have real, honest chats about the highs and lows of dad life. We'll laugh together at the craziness of parenting and the silliness of our kiddos, and we'll support each other through the challenges and tough decisions of fatherhood. Whether you're a seasoned granddad or a dad-to-be, we promise laughs, relatable, and sometimes raw talk, and expert help to tackle the tough issues. Not from Sean and me, but from the amazing guests we'll have on the show. So let's be dads crossing through life together.
Well, stop eating.
Too late. I already hit record. That got in there. That got in there.
At least the eating part got in there, not what I said before.
No, not what you said before. No, that did not get in there. But the okay, I'll stop eating got in there. Anyways. Well, dang, Sean, I was going to start this off a little solemn, but it's too late now. We were just laughing. So, Sean, I mentioned my cat on the last, well, not the last, but two episodes ago on the Everyday Life. Our cat, Boo, had to go to the vet. Was a real ordeal. Had her blood taken, and we found out that she has kidney disease, likely brought on by a cancerous tumor. So the vet was like, listen, there's really nothing you can do. She was like, you could try and figure out if that's exactly what it is. She was like, but even if we do, it's not going to do anything. She was like, it's not going to change anything. So, and she's talking to me about like, well, you know, it's not a great way for a cat to go out. And, you know, if she starts feeling bad, you might want to put her down. And so I'm like, okay, well, and so here she is. She's just like prancing around. She's not like doing anything. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Like Becca's like, no, we're not putting her down. Not right now. She's fine. But at some point, the point is here, at some point we are going to have to put her down. I don't know if that's going to be like in a week or in 3 months or what, but we know that she's not going to get better, unfortunately. Only worse.
Yeah. And that's not an easy thing to handle because it's obviously for like the likes of you and Becky, you've experienced losing like family members.
Mm-hmm.
So you are quite, well, I wouldn't say quite well rehearsed in how to handle loss. And I know it sounds a bit silly that we've started this. Well, it might sound a bit silly to some people that we started this based on the fact that you're losing your cat. But you've had Boo for, what's she now, 10 years old?
13 years.
Wow, 13. So 13 years old, which, you know, it's a long time to have an animal. And they form part of the household then. It's like, you know, you expect to find them in certain areas. You expect them to do certain things at certain times because that's their routine. So they form part of the family unit. So,
and the kids have always had her. Like they don't know life without Boo in the house, to be honest.
Yeah, so they came before Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Boo came before them.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a difficult one, and I know like Becca is very much a cat person, especially a black cat person, because every time we've ever had a discussion about what we're going to be buying our spouses for Christmas and birthdays, it's always formed around black cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I don't know what I'm going to get her because literally I have a birthday for her in 7 days. Should have talked about that. So like on the last episode.
Not a black cat.
Yeah, I know, right? Like that's exactly right. Like don't get her black cat stuff because it's only going to make her feel bad and remember. So I don't know. Anyways.
So it's going to have this kind of, as you alluded before we recorded the Monday episode when we actually spoke about what the topic was going to be, you've had to like have the discussion with the kids regards, you know, your beloved pet is no longer going to be with us. How did they take that, Nick?
So like, okay, so we need to like step back and have a honest conversation about Boo's beautiful personality. Okay, she is cranky. Okay, like she's just an old cranky cat. She was probably cranky before she was old, but now she's old and cranky. Okay, so she kind of resents the kids. The kids, she came, like you said, she came before the kids. The kids kind of are in her way of hanging out with mom and dad, and so she and the kids have a okay relationship. To be fair, now the kids would like to have a great relationship with her. But the boo wants nothing to do with them, really. So you have to take that into like the perspective as well. So when I was like telling them, I was all prepped for. I wasn't prepped for tears. I didn't think I'd get tears, but I didn't think I would get like from Ariel. She's like, so when we get rid of Boo, can we get a new cat? Because I'd really like a new cat. And I was like, we probably will, but back to Boo. Like, or how does that make you feel? She's like, oh, I'm sad she's gonna die, but or I'm sad. I don't know. I don't think she said die. I can't remember what she said. She's like, I'm sad she's got to go or something. I don't know. But she's like, but yeah, we could get a new cat. And I was like, oh, okay, this is not going the way I had assumed it would go. And so I was like.
I wasn't prepared. I hadn't scripted for this, children.
Yeah,
Be sad.
exactly. And so I was like, well, we probably will get a new cat. I was like, but that's gonna have to be a mom decision, just because she's gonna be pretty sad. And they were honestly like, yeah, I'm gonna be really bummed for mom. That's kind of like how it landed. Like it was like, okay, I'm gonna be really sad that mom's sad. Well, I'll be ready for a new cat though.
Yeah, yeah, and I suppose that's the given the relationship that Boo sees them as a hindrance to her nice lifestyle of just you and Becca, because the kids came, made noise, pulled and prodded and poked
Yep.
and
Yeah.
whatnot, because all kids do.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably why the response was like it was.
For sure.
So,
For
but
sure.
it's also interesting that they have the empathy to feel sorry for Becca. They're gonna see that she's she's going to be sad, she's going to be upset, and that she's going to have to have the time to grieve. So you, like you said, that's a mum decision because she's going to be pretty sad. So they're going to have to look at that and see and kind of like halt the process of, can we get a new cat? Can we get a new cat? Can we get a new cat? Sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was interesting. Like, that's why when you said this, I was like, well, we can have this conversation, but my kids are probably not the great example. Like, if we got a new cat and it was and it had a great relationship with the kids, I think that conversation would be like totally different, right? Like everybody would be really distraught. So but that's not how it was.
Yeah.
So, this time around, so
Yeah, I've got a feeling that when it comes to the day Levi is no longer with us, that's our cat, by the way, who predominantly lives outside, comes in occasionally, beats Rex up, and then goes back out. So that's how he lives.
It's a good life.
Yeah, it's just this great big barrel on legs that likes to humiliate the dog on a regular basis. I've got a feeling there'll be tears all around because Levi is Jaya's cat.
Okay.
She got Levi when she was 8, because that's when I met Jaya. So like just before her 8th birthday is when Lindsay got her the kitten. Emily kind of joined, and she was like two and a bit when she met Levi. So she's kind of grown up with Levi, where Logan was born in 2017. And Levi was 3 years old by this point. Kind of become accustomed to children and what they did, and he was actually quite tolerant of a toddler. But like even Logan like will let him in and put his food down for him and fuss him and tell him that he's a good cat, and like opens the bedroom door because the only room in the house that he'll go in is the girl's bedroom. So I can imagine there would be tears and upset. There was upset when we lost Parker. That was our beagle prior to having Rex, who's currently laid here next to me because I keep mentioning the word cat. His ears keep poking.
Cats and shadows.
So yeah, that and shadows. So Literally, it's just he's got his nose on the skirting board, staring at the wall.
That's hilarious.
It's crazy. So yeah, I'd imagine that we'd have more tears. I mean, the day we ever lose Rex, I do
Oh
not
my
want to
gosh.
break that news
Yeah.
because even I'll be distraught. As much as he's a pain in the butt sometimes, he's
Dude, you
yeah.
absolutely
We
love that dog. You take that dog for
I do
walks. You do everything for. I mean, you're like even.
well,
I'll be.
yeah,
I think you will be like totally messed up for sure.
yeah. He doesn't get on with me as well as he gets on with Lindsay, so he growls at me a lot.
Really?
Yeah, he does it, but I think he does it to all males. Like
Oh, okay.
females, he's really, really like happy and he doesn't really growl much. But like when Lindsay's dad comes, it's like Lindsay's dad will sit on the sofa and Rex will come up to him and he's growling, but his little tail nubs going like 10 to the dozen because he's super excited. And he's kind of like climbing onto Lindsay's dad as he's growling, but at the same time he's trying to lick his face. And so we just think it's his way of communicating.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but yeah. But
Yeah, because I
spent a lot of
don't
time.
see that at all when like we podcast. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't think any of that. So.
But yeah, he's like I've had to do a lot of work with him in terms of like I spend a lot of time with him like on an evening sat down here, like on my own if I'm gaming and stuff like that. He will come and he'll lay next to me or he'll lay on me as he has done for the last couple of nights. Um, I had to do a lot to kind of build a relationship with him because I think the relationship he had with the previous owners, the male aspect of the relationship wasn't great. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, have the kids had an experience of losing family members?
Um, we've been, knock on wood, fairly lucky. I'm trying to think who they would have lost. I mean, we've definitely talked about death to them. There have been church members who have passed away that they've gone to funerals for and stuff like that. But so like they definitely understand the concept, but they have not actually gone through the like losing somebody. So this will be the first time for that. I mean, like even when I talked to him just to make sure, I was like, "You do understand? Boo will be gone. She's not coming back. This is like not she's not falling asleep. She's gone." And they're like, "Yeah, we understand what death is dead." And I was like, "Okay, I kind of hope you would. I hope I've done my job that well."
I'm going to
Um,
say because you've got we don't do church as such. Like Logan School does it because it's a Church of England school, so they're quite good with taking them for different services and stuff like that. But we as a family unit don't often go. Um, it may only be for christenings and stuff like because I'm christened,
mhm.
Lindsay's christened, Logan's christened, Jay is christened, Emily is not because that was her mum's choice. Um, so like they do the religious side of thing. There is a lot of talk of like you know when people die and pass away and stuff like
Mhm.
that. That there's things afterwards. So I'd assume like with through the church and stuff that they'd have learned a lot more, a bit more than what they would have learned at school or
Yeah.
just in conversation.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things, right? Like just the human context of like you can talk about things, you can even see things on TV, but until you have experienced it, it just doesn't hit the same. So I don't know if it'll hit. I don't know if this will be the thing that makes it hit for the kids, but at some point, like we have Nana who's 92, so I mean, let's just be real here. Not at some point that's going to happen. So
92 is a good age. That's a good age to get to.
yeah. So yeah, and we've been blessed. I mean they've been blessed to have their great grandmother for, 12 and 10 years of their life. So um so yeah, but at some point that's going to happen, and definitely they'll go through the grieving process for that. I mean, all those
Yeah.
pictures you see of Noah with his great grandma on his
Yeah,
birthday,
every
because
birthday.
yep, every birthday they're only 2 days apart, so they celebrate their birthday together. That first birthday for Noah is going to be like devastating, that he doesn't
Yeah.
have Nana there beside him with her cheesecake, and he has his like super, crazy whatever it is, whether it's a Harry Potter or a Splatoon cake or whatever it is. It's always just so funny. So yeah, but I don't think this will be the thing that does it for them. But definitely, they're going to experience that. So it's all about kind of like how do you go about preparing them for that, and maybe even better than that, giving them the tools they don't know they need now for when that inevitably happens.
Yeah, and it's a hard one. Let's say we lost Lindsay's grandma from her mum's side, so that's one great grandparent. We lost grandfather from Lindsay's side. He currently lives in the window here in his urn. We lost my grandma very suddenly, which was quite difficult. And Jay has lost family from her dad's side. So Jay has experienced it a lot more than the other two.
Sure.
Logan was around his great grandma close to before she passed away. She passed away in my mother-in-law's house. She had cancer, and it just took its toll, and it wasn't very, very good. But he was really little for that. He was a bit older for Granddad Guyver, and he found that difficult because when Granddad Guyver used to come, he used to make a really big thing about Logan, because Logan big on cars. He used to spend a lot of time with him, sat on his knee and talking to him about, what car is this? What does he do? Like, what's his name? And like, how fast do you think he can go? And is he faster than your other cars and stuff like that? And he was really good with it. So it was hard to explain that Granddad wasn't here anymore. But it's one of the reasons why I think having him in the urn has been pretty good. Because shortly after he passed away, and that was there, Logan would go and he would put his cars near the urn and stuff, and
that's amazing.
which is really, really nice. And I think that kind of helped him a little bit. And I mean, for the girls, it was like they used to go like on days out after school and stuff like that. Like they used to help us with the school runs and stuff. So they used to pick them up and they'd take them like to McDonald's for tea, and then bring them back when somebody was home and stuff like that. So, but the girls started to miss out on that, but they were really good with it, and having a bit more of a mature head definitely helped with the understanding. So, but it is all just about talking to them. It's like when you know somebody's ill and that time will be coming shortly, it's sitting down and having that conversation of, look, like they're really poorly. There's no getting better with this, so we're going to be spending as much time as we can with them, and seeing them, and until, well, I think it was until a certain point with the girls, because some of the processes before passing away, it's just not incredible to see, and you don't, like, I know when if my parents pass away, I'll find it really hard to see them in the last stages, because you have this, you don't want to remember them that way. So we were just making sure that the girls like got to spend time with grandma and with granddad before it got to a point where that person wasn't there as such as they remember. So yeah, I think that was one of the ways that we helped. So
yeah, and I think that's like, you can make a plan for when somebody passes away, and that's great. How you're going to talk to them, how you're going to present that, all that stuff. Now, if they're littler, toddlers and such, then that's a different conversation, and this other part doesn't really pertain as much. They're probably too young. But even when they get to Ariel's age, around 10, maybe a little bit earlier than that, and especially Noah's age, like, preparing them now for how to be emotional beings, to be able to like express how they feel, be comfortable to express how they feel, to be willing to, share their emotions and be okay to cry and do all those things. Like I think that's the stuff that you can do like now, so that when the time comes and somebody passes away or something like that happens, then you already have fertile ground to be like, hey, how do you feel? And they won't be like, I don't know, I don't even know how to express. I mean, they're not going to know how to express it for sure, but at least they'll have some tools to try to express how they feel.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's that in the bit that's important, like you said, is knowing that it's okay to feel those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They might not fully understand how they feel or how to present that feeling, but to know that it's okay to feel something and not to they're not going to get in trouble if they're crying or they're upset or if for whatever reason they feel frustrated and angry about the
Yes.
loss of somebody.
Yeah.
Because that's the other side of it is to understand that that is what they're feeling. It's okay to feel that, but it can't be targeted at anything or anyone
Mm-hmm.
because it's nothing. It's like that. I don't know if it's a story that I read in a book about how a a man gave a boy a hammer and a box of nails because he was really mad and frustrated, and he like started hammering all these nails into this bit of wood. And eventually, they got tired of hammering the nails into the wood. So, like, the father was like, "Right, turn the hammer around and take all the nails out." And as he was taking all the nails out, and it was leaving great big holes and cracks and stuff like that in the wood, he was like, "It doesn't, that is representative of every time you've hit that nail into the wood, that's you being frustrated and taking it out on somebody. And it doesn't matter how many times you say sorry or anything like that, but it leaves a mark and
Mm-hmm.
it leaves a scar in the wood." So that's how it is on people. Because if you take your frustrations out on people, eventually they will, you know, break and won't be there or be as supportive for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
That's really good.
it's yeah, it's trying to teach them to not take it out on somebody and to understand that, yeah, okay, maybe I'm feeling frustrated because of, I'm missing my my family member, and maybe I need to just either pull away for a little bit from somewhere and just go and do something expressive, like go do some painting, go do some coloring, um, or sit down and talk about it and maybe let those feelings come out, and the frustration might come out as upset and sadness, or it may even come out as remembering funny stories or funny events where it only make them laugh and puts them at ease. So it's how to handle that
Mm-hmm.
emotion.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I really like that's an awesome analogy. And yeah, I think that is very poignant because not everybody's going to cry, right? Some people are going to get mad. Somebody's going to get
Yeah,
mad and then cry. Some people are going to cry and get mad. Some people are going to be stoic, like they're not going to feel any of those emotions. They might just be numb, or I don't know. So it's
yeah.
it's interesting.
I remember when Lindsay's grandma passed away. We literally the week after we went away on holiday, and then a week later, Lindsay's mum and sister, like, and her kids and stuff, all came out to the same place. That was always planned like that. It was awful that first week. Lindsay was just devastated, and she was devastated in Greek sunshine, but she was still devastated. And then when her mum came out and her sister, they had this like trio of support, but they also had loads of stuff that they needed to plan, and it wasn't the greatest holiday, but it kept the kids separate and entertained and stuff like that. And I just did as much as possible as I could to kind of give her the time to be with her mum and things like that. And
Hmm. Yeah, and I
so that
mean,
was a weird one.
yeah, yeah, and sometimes that's the case too, right? Like when somebody passes away, there's the funeral and there's stuff and people are there and there's a lot of buzz and activity, not in a great way, but it's still there. And then sometimes so you don't really maybe click right away. So maybe you don't click until after all that stuff kind of dies down, like. So I think
Yeah.
I guess that's another piece I would say is just like not annoyingly every day or something like that, but just like every once in a while touching base with your kiddo if something like that has happened, to be like, hey, how are you, how is this landing with you now, are you mad, are you upset, are you kind of feel like you're it's scabbed over a bit, like where you at with how you're feeling. So
Yeah. And then the other one is asking them if they want to attend the the wake or the funeral.
yeah.
Um, because I know Emily has said no to all of them so far, but the last couple that we've had to go to, Jaya has been there. Um, and that was her decision. We didn't want to take that decision away from her without
Hmm.
it. I mean, Logan still, to me, is too young. He wouldn't fully understand, and he also wouldn't have the patience and understanding to be respectful about what was happening. He would probably end up standing up and flossing at some point because it's just he's got that much energy. Um, bless him. So
I just love the idea of some little kid in the middle of a funeral just like flossing. There would be a swath of people that would hate it, but I would not be one of them. I would
I know,
absolutely love it. I would be like,
yeah,
even if it was my loved one. I mean, just listen, I'll take it. I've told Becca, she hates it when I tell her this. I was like, listen, let's be honest, I'm probably going to go out before you. And when I do, I want a party. Okay. I don't want no like sad, like, Nick's dead. Like, throw a party. Like, we got tax money, we got insurance money coming. Like, use that, throw a party. That's what I say. Like, that's what I want to have happen when I die. I want there to
yeah.
be like awesome music and some sweet food and maybe a
My
band. I don't know.
my grandma's funeral, the the music that played as she went into the cremation chamber was "I'm Coming Up" by Pink. So there she is, just slowly sliding away into the cremation chamber. Like, I'm crying because it's the last time I'll ever be in the same room as my grandmother, but at the same time, I'm laughing because, there's Pink singing, "I'm coming up, so you better get this party started." And it's just like, okay, well done, Grandma. Well done.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I gotta write a will. I'm gonna go to a lawyer and be like, I need a will, and they're gonna be like, oh, well, what would you like to do with your money? I was like, I don't care about any of that. All I want to do is just like get down how I want my funeral to go. That's all I really care about. I don't care about the rest of it.
Yeah, I've always joked to Lindsay, just stick me on a raft, push me out to sea, and set fire to it. Just watch
Mhm.
it go. Bye.
Oh well, but no. But if you're gonna do that, you got to do the Viking. Then you got to get
Well,
somebody
that's it.
with
There's
shoot the
oh, the
arrow.
arrow.
Yeah.
Oh, in Mullet,
Sh-
they'd run out of arrows. uh, but yeah, but no, it's you have in a situation like you have to laugh because it's such a somber topic and it's so hard to handle because everybody's children are going to feel things differently. They're all going to go through, you know, not they're all going to go through a stage of maturity at different times, and it's one of those that's really difficult to handle. I remember growing up, I never went to any of my family's funerals until um, my granddad from my mum's side. That was the first one I ever went to. I can remember my mum took me to see the open coffin as well beforehand, and it was just really weird because I walked in and there was my granddad on the table, but he looked smaller. He didn't look as big as I remember him, sort of thing. And
hmm
I don't know if it was I was too young or I just wasn't prepared for it because it was the first time I'd ever seen it. But
hmm
like, it's a difficult one to process,
Yeah.
and I don't know how my kids would handle that process. So
hmm
I wouldn't want to put that on them at the moment. So
Yeah. No, I think you're 100% right. Like when you said earlier about like you gave your kids the option. Like I think you really have. If it was me, at least, I would be really like, listen, you have to understand this is gonna be the last time you're gonna be able to like be in the same room as your loved one. Okay, and so really think if you don't want to go. But if you don't, that's totally cool. But I just want you to understand what you're missing if you choose not to go. But I certainly wouldn't force them. And I also think like it's hard, especially if it's your loved one, because you have your own emotion. You have your own you have your own way of like showing this emotion, right? There's all these people in the household. They all are attached to this person in some way, but they all show that like attachment in different ways, right? So like you have to be like very flexible and not get offended, right? When like Noah's probably going to crack a joke and he's gonna cry right after that, and then he's gonna be pissed. I'm just guessing. I don't know, but if I like were to guess, it would be like those three things are gonna happen in some order. It might not be that order. Where Ariel's just gonna cry. That's what's gonna happen. And Becca's probably gonna be like, "Why did this happen?" and cry. And I might cry, and I might not. And people will be like, "Why not cry?" Because that's just kind of I've been there before. So but you
Yeah.
have to be like okay with all those people doing all those emotions, right? Don't be offended that one person doesn't cry or one person gets mad or one person says a joke or yeah, like as
Yeah.
long as nobody's desecrating the body or being obnoxiously rude on purpose, then let's give everybody a little bit of leeway and grace, I guess. So, and let
Yeah.
them mourn.
Lindsay kind of retreats into her own self and gets quite upset and needs the time, where I I don't show anything,
Mm-hmm.
but then the on the day of the funeral that's when I usually crack because I can tell myself and compartmentalize so much that this is a process of life. This is what happens. They got to a good age. They lived a fantastic life. I remember all these different things with them. But then the day of the event, and I've got to attend, and everybody's there, and we're talking about how great their life was and things like that. That's when I'll let my emotions out, and then after that, I'm pretty stoic in terms of
Mm-hmm.
it's happened now. Let's just carry on. We we light a candle for Lindsay's granddad all the time. Um, fair enough. But yeah, we kind of do little things like that to celebrate. And I mean, his urn gets decorated at Christmas. He has a little Santa hat on and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So
I've seen the
we
Santa hat.
keep him involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I think that's really. I don't know if you got any of those final words you normally do. That's all I got.
No, I think you took it this time with the everybody feels grief in different ways, and you've kind of got to, like you said, be emotionally flexible for the kids are going to feel one way, your spouse is going to feel another. Like if it's your mother that's passed away, your father's going to feel completely different, or vice versa. If it's your mum's sister that's passed away, your mum's going to feel different grief in different ways and show it. They might be really proactive and productive and be doing lots of stuff, or they might just completely shut down and you've got to go in there and be supportive, but at the same time, you're grieving and you're trying to deal with your partner that's grieving and kids that are grieving. So it pulls you in many different directions. And I think you hit the nail on the head where you just have to be patient and understanding and touch base and talk to people. So
I agree.
yeah.
I agree with what you said that I said.
Yeah, I was just recapping.
No, you were. No, no. It was just funny that I said it. That was not the
I
right
know.
words to say. At the moment it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, that wasn't. I was like, yep. That's wasn't the right.
God, man, stop being an asshole. Okay, that's probably the first time I ever said that to you, and it'll never happen again because it's
Oh,
just
you're
so
fine.
untrue.
It was funny. No, I was like, I agree. I don't know what I just said.
Ace. Well, again, as always, if you want to ask us any more questions about how we dealt with things, and you have maybe a specific topic around that where you might want a little bit more one-to-one chat, because I know we kind of semi gloss over some stuff sometimes, but there's an element of we don't always want to say everything about all our family and how they feel because they might not want to hear it. They might not want people to hear it. So,
Mm.
but yeah, we're always open to talk more one-to-one if you want. But thank you very much for listening. We apologize that it was a somber topic and we may have laughed a few times, but as the bare naked lady said, I'm the kind of guy that laughs at a funeral. Yeah. So thanks very much for listening. And until next time, we shall see you later.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Crossing. We're here to remind you that this podcast is made by dads for dads. It's a place where all of us can come together, share a laugh, and tackle the wild ride that is fatherhood. If you want to keep the conversation going or just need a safe space to chat or ask for help, you are always welcome to reach out. You can find me, Sean, at Sean_Abbott, and you can find my good friend Nick at Nick10Do. And of course, give our social media platforms a good look over, because that is where we share all the updates, all the laughs, and all the things dad life. That is, everything is at Dad Crossing. For anything more, feel free to drop us a message at team@dadcrossing.com. And until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone on this journey. We'll see you in the next episode of Dad Crossing.